Oftentimes in pottery, especially for beginners, this is a really big problem for beginners. Beginners like to keep all their stuff, but I'm telling you that's not a good solution. For example, this mug was probably made earlier this year, and at the time I wasn't really doing too well with my handles, so I don't really like the way this handle came out. And on top of that, I don't like how the glaze came out. I was not intending it for it to do it like this, and I don't like how it came out. So I'm probably gonna break this soon. I don't know when, but I'll probably break it because it didn't come out how I wanted. And that's what I want you to think about. I want you guys to set a standard for how your pottery looks. Now, how do you set a standard? Well, in order for you to understand that, allow me to kind of tell you a story. So, when I was first starting out, I was much like you. I really wanted to keep pretty much all my pots. I wanted to see kind of my progress, I guess. And I didn't have my own kiln, so I was really getting backed up on a lot of old pottery that I had in my house. None of it was even bisque fired yet. It was just literally just made in a bin, and it was in my garage, so it was taking up a lot of space. And I'm sure a lot of you are probably facing this problem as well. So what did I do about it? Well, because I had so much pottery, because I was making so many things since I got my wheel, and I was making so many things that I had so much, so I literally looked at all of the pots, and some of the beginning stuff I absolutely hated, and I was really questioning myself, like, why the heck did I keep half of these things? And so I literally just started recycling left and right, and I cleared up so much of my pottery that it was insane. I think I had like almost 2 full bins, and I went down to like half a bin afterwards, because I went through and I wanted to see which ones I liked and which ones met my standard. So how do you make this standard? Well, it comes down to really 5 steps. So the first step is you want to look at other potters' work. Now, this is a very big part in setting a standard for how your pottery will look like. Because if you don't do research before, you're not going to really look, and you're not going to really know what a good pot looks like. You know what I mean? So if you just go in like just kind of balls to the walls, straight going right to how you want to make your pots, you're not going to learn new ways to make the pottery and how to improve how your pottery, but you're also limiting yourself because you're not getting sparks of imagination from up here from other potters. So I recommend going on YouTube, Instagram, really Pinterest. You do Pinterest too, and just kind of look at ideas for making pottery look good. And if you do that, you will start to be able to set a standard for how your mugs will look like. So now, the second step that you want to do is that you want to test different shapes and sizes. So what do I mean by testing different shapes and sizes? Well, after you've done the research on like different potters, try to replicate their work a little bit. You don't have to replicate it exactly, but just try to replicate it enough so it kind of starts becoming your own style. So you want to test out many different shapes, many different sizes, find which one works out best for you. The reason why you do that is because if you don't like your pottery, why the heck are you going to try to really make it for anybody else? You know what I mean? So you have to like your pottery first, or else you're not going to be able to really grow as a potter. So you really have to set that standard, and you do that by looking at other people's pots and testing different shapes and sizes. So for example, I like my mugs to be anywhere from like 5 inches to like 6 inches tall, and I like them to be really light, and I like them to have a foot ring. That's how I like my mugs, and not even my mugs, I like my pottery to have foot rings too. So those are the standards that I set for myself, because I know that when I do those, my pottery becomes so much better and it looks a lot nicer. Now, so after you have done the research on what you kind of want your pottery to look like, and you've tested different sizes and shapes on what fits you the best, the third thing that you should do is do small things. What do I mean by doing the small things? Well, for example, a lot of people don't like to trim their pottery because it takes a lot of time and it's just kind of a hard thing to do, especially for beginners. But when you do the small things, you're not only making your pottery look better, you're making it almost like have it more like a connection to it, to your pottery, when you do it that way. Because, for example, I like to trim and make foot rings. Not everybody does that, but I make my foot rings because, one, I was taught to do that, and two, it makes me feel good about myself, and three, it makes my pottery look way better than what if I was just to leave it flat and have it all heavy and stuff just after throwing it off the wheel. So do the small things. I don't know what that small thing may be for you, but for me, it's trimming my pots and making them look nice and smooth and really just kind of flow together when I trim it. So the fourth thing is, so once you have all these steps, you have looked at other potters' work and you have tested different shapes and sizes, and you have started focusing on doing the small things rather than putting them off, the fourth thing you want to do is, once you find something that works, keep on doing it. Because once you find something that works, it's going to become your own style of mug or your pots, really. And when you find your own style, you're going to enjoy it a lot more. So that's why you want to keep on doing what works. But I'm not saying to just keep on doing that same thing because it's going to get boring. I'm saying just keep on doing it, what works, and then every now and then go ahead and test like a little something small on the side so that you can see if you like this shape better than rather than this shape. Do you know what I mean? Because if you keep on doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, you're gonna get bored. But you're gonna get a lot of good experience doing it that way. But I do encourage you to test out different shapes and sizes just kind of randomly. So if you make 4 pots, for example, you can make 3 of them the same, and then the 4th one, do a little spin on it. Just try that. So as long as you keep on focusing on what's working, you're gonna find better ways to really set up your standard better. Now, the 5th thing that you could do in order to set a standard is just practice. The more you practice, the more you're gonna find what works for you and what you enjoy to make and how you just want to make your pottery. The more you practice, the more you're going to be able to really dial in on what your standard for your pots will look like. Thank you. Subscribe below and give me a like, and comment if you like this video.